But today we are talking about prohibiting money for the study. And I have to tell you that this agreement is to study the potential removal of 4 privately owned dams, not the agreement to remove dams, and is designed to bring about significant improvements to both environmental conditions and water supply certainty, which need to be confirmed through the study. The studies are scientific, they deal with engineering and economic and environmental-based analysis to determine whether the promise of the agreement will occur. And for that reason, we oppose this amendment. And now I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman's time has expired. For the purpose, does the gentleman rise? The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
I just want to say to the gentleman, the Oregon Public Utility Commission has ruled that from the standpoint of the rate-paying public, the settlement agreement is preferable to relicensing under the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, known as FERC, as the agreement caps ratepayer cost at $200 million, whereas fish passage cost, because these dams are old, could exceed $500 million, plus an additional $200 million for O&M. The amendment would force these costs on the rate-paying public without the benefit of accurate benefits and costs. And I just, being from the Northwest, I want you to know that sometimes, and they're just studying this dam removal, but sometimes by taking out dams, you can restore the original habitat and help the salmon recovery, as we're doing on the Elwha Dam project up in Washington State. Because it was going to cost so much to fix up the dams that it was actually cheaper to take them out and restore, and this became a major restoration project. So I wouldn't just assume that this is not a positive thing. So I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Oregon. I can't yield 1 minute. I yield to the gentleman from Oregon.
I appreciate the gentleman's courtesy, and he is absolutely correct. What is being dealt with in the Klamath River Basin is unraveling a serious problem, because the federal government has promised more than Mother Nature can deliver. And part of what is being considered, and it is being supported broadly by Native Americans, there are business interests. We've been working with utilities in the north, a broad range of people in the community, and this is something that seriously needs to be studied and done right. There's a very strong likelihood that if it isn't done properly, there may well be something that happens in the Klamath River Basin where circumstances move ahead, and it's not done in the way that I think most people would like. So I appreciate the gentleman speaking.
And being from Oregon, you realize that it would do a lot potentially for salmon restoration.
It is a tremendous opportunity for the Klamath River Basin. It's a tremendous opportunity for the Native Americans, for agriculture, for sports people, and to avoid the litigation and the political squirrel cage that we are in. And if you go down there and visit it, you find, as I know my good friend from California has, it's a tremendous opportunity, and this amendment is really, would be a mistake.
Thank you, my friend. Reclaiming my time, I will yield to the gentleman from California to respond.
I thank the gentleman, and I want to agree with you, Mr. Dix, on the salmon implications of this, and also Mr. Walden, who talked about the agricultural implications of not having a solution. This has been an absolute mess for decades, and we've seen the fruits of that disaster bear out in salmon, the salmon industry crashing, and agricultural problems that we have. And for the first time in decades, first time ever, we have had all the stakeholders come together. These are people who you couldn't get in the same town with before, who are sitting around the same table. They're working out solutions. They've come to some agreements, and this study has to be made. And Mr. Dix, you're absolutely right.
And you'd think that the gentleman from California would be interested in letting the local community come to a decision on this, rather than imposing it from Washington, D.C., and overturning what this local group of people have been working on for years. I mean, this is really a bit much. And I yield back the balance of my time and call for a vote.
The gentleman's time has expired.